There we go. What the hell? Hello? Uh-oh, my volume is not working. Uh-oh, what the hell? Hello? Oh, shit. This is not working out at all. Pyro? Sorry to work on my mic. Hold on. Hello? What the hell? What? Pyro, I'm sorry. I'm not hearing you at all. I'll leave the studio. I'm not hearing you at all. I'm sorry, Pyro. I'm trying to set up in the settings. It's not working. Don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh God. Okay, so I was doing that rant for like
Oh, yeah.
4 minutes.
I was like,
Holy
what the
shit.
hell happened to my audio? I'm like,
Oh
I
my
apologize.
God.
I apologize, Pyro. I apologize, guys. I don't know what the hell happened on
No,
my
you're
end.
good. I'm glad you caught that, bro. Because like I was ranting about 2K25, and apparently I was literally talking to nobody but myself for like 4 minutes. So I restarted the show. I wanted to do that rant before we started up. I just wanted to get that rant out of the way. But basically, moral of the story is, if you like getting beaten, even though you've done like 3 finishers and still get beaten, buy the game. If you like a game that isn't bullshit and is actually going to let you grind and get the rewards of it, fucking get another game, because this shit is reoccurring every damn year and it's ridiculous. So you want a good game? It's not 2K25, and granted, it hasn't been 2K WWE 2K since probably fucking. I feel like 18 was probably the last good game, and that's saying good. So that's my fucking rant on that. I don't care what they put in to make it better. You can't even fucking play it because you can't even win. You can't do anything. You can't reverse. You can't win. They have made it so arcadey to the point where you can't even fucking do anything. So now that I got that off my chest, folks, we are going to move on to the Raw reactions.
How's it going, guys? Raw post-show chaos coverage with me and Pyro here. And what's up, on Whitecorn Hartley?
Unicorn Hartley? Cool.
Hello,
Cool
hello.
name.
If you're new watching this, by the way, make sure you subscribe to Hardcore Sports channel and Pyro's channel and Furious Nation. If you're new watching this, make sure you go subscribe to those channels. So those are the live channels on right now. So Pyro, I gotta say, the Raw before Evolution, not much hype for Evolution.
Not at all. Yeah, there was one match, and then they had they did a lot of video packages, which doesn't really help. They did one for Nikki, and then they did one for the women's world title match.
But yeah,
Rhea or Bailey? I'm Team Rhea, to be honest with you. I love Bailey, but I'm Team Rhea. Rhea puts in the work. She's a very talented worker, and she's someone willing to do a lot of cool shit that a lot of people on the roster is not. So that's what I would say. But no, there's, I mean, yeah, we had we had it for, we had that Intercontinental Championship segment, but segments, come on. There really wasn't anything for Evolution that got my attention. They tried to hype up the Raw Women's tag title match, but the Kabuki Warriors is a team again, though. I like that.
They got Kabuki Warriors. They got Roxanne and Raquel, the Judgment Day. They got Soruka and Zarya, and they got Charlotte and Alexa. I think Roxanne and Raquel are going to retain, but I was thinking this earlier tonight, Pyro. Asuka and Kairi are not winning this. I would go Asuka and Io for the women's world title at SummerSlam, but Asuka and Kairi lose this match, and after they lose, have Asuka turn on Kairi. Asuka goes heel. and Kyrie has been hanging out with Io. Has Kyrie been lately? And then you have Io involved. It leads to Io and Asuka for the women's world title at SummerSlam. You get Kyrie involved, and you have that direction going into SummerSlam, and even going into Clash in Paris, you do Asuka versus Kyrie. While you get Stephanie Vatcara and Io Sky for the world title for the women at Clash in Paris, because I do think Stephanie Vatcara is winning that Battle Royal Evolution, and she is in it, and she is my pick to win the whole thing. So I would think that's probably where they go, and it makes sense, and it honestly also makes sense. I know the Kabuki Warriors didn't win a qualifying match, but them in the match does make sense, and it makes the match better. I know the women's tag titles don't mean jack shit, but the Kabuki Warriors in there, as well as Alexa and Charlotte, and now Ruka and Zarya, it does make the match a lot more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the Kabuki Warriors in general, we've been saying for weeks now that we don't have enough for a women's tag team division. That gives us finally, and that finally gives us
on her own too. So should Kyrie. Both women should be on their own. They don't need to have Kabuki Warriors anymore. They're both fine on their own. Better off.
I disagree, honestly. I think they could use. I think they both can use each other's guidance. We have both women coming back, and they both have kind of they both have returned a little bit rusty. So I think it would benefit to have them together, and they seem to love working together anyways, and it's a matter of keeping the women's tag team division fresh, and keeping it going. The problem is we don't have a women's division that allows that. So I think if you do bring back those two, and then you give them a reason to keep the women's tag titles, then I'm all for it, because women need something. They don't need to just get rid of a title just because the division is low. That is a management issue, and I think they are very well with. I think they're allowing now with the Kabuki Warriors. I think they're allowing that to finally show that they can be. They can allow.
I just fixed it. I just fixed it for you guys.
Fix what?
Thank you, Mitch. You're the
background.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I didn't know the background was messy.
Yeah, you just gotta change the brand. You're in the HSN. I'll show you guys how to do that later.
Okay, sweet.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys are good. I'll talk to you later. Hold on.
Talk to you later.
But yeah,
that's why I'm here.
I think with Asuka and Kyrie saying, I thought this earlier. I think that's probably the direction they're going to go on Asuka. And there's not many heels in the Raw Women's division. I think turning Asuka heel would be the right move. And you have Kyrie involved, a face Kyrie and a heel Asuka. I mean, there's Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan's out. Becky's the only heel in that division. There's Roxanne, but she's tagging with Raquel. They don't really have much heels in that Raw Women's division, man. They really don't. And I think turning Asuka heel, at least for now, would probably be the best thing. And Io needs a challenger at SummerSlam. I don't think Rhea's beating Io this Sunday. I don't. Because I think Rhea has unfinished business with the Judgment Day. And Io and Asuka is a big match for SummerSlam. And they're going to be in New Jersey. It's the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. You want to make that show as big as possible. So,
see, I was kind of shocked when Rhea was going after the Judgment Day again, and it's mostly because it reminded me how LA Knight constantly went after the Bloodline all the time. And now that there's somebody new going after somebody new, now there's somebody new, go after that person of the same
by the
team.
way, LA Knight over as fuck at the end of Raw tonight.
Fucking right, dude. I know Mitch hates him, but bro, I love LA Knight, and I love what they're going into with this. LA Knight, he just needed a new scenery. And the thing is, maybe if you have that argument of the Yad chance getting annoying, so is the Yeet chance. So is Gunther chopping every fucking match. It's
quite frankly,
being consistent.
Ring-wise, sorry to cut you off, Pyro. Honestly, in ring-wise, I much prefer LA Knight over Jey Uso any day of the fucking week.
Yeah, LA Knight. I've been an LA Knight guy since he was Eli Drake saying dummy. Yeah, it's literally my text ring notification because I love it so much. But like the thing is, LA Knight just needed a new scenery. He just needs a way to be challenged on the mic, where he can put those great promos together. It's the same thing as putting Cena and Punk together. It's the same thing if you put Cody and Randy together. They're challenges. Those are they're two individuals that know how to challenge each other. You put somebody like Seth Rollins in there, and you have a guy who can speak. You have a guy who can wrestle. You have a guy who can make. He's a specialist for a reason. He can make history with anybody. He's this generation's Shawn Michaels. And when you put LA Knight, this generation's Stone Cold, or even if you say The Rock, that's a dream match we never got. Shawn versus Rock. Now we get to experience this generation's Shawn versus Rock. And that is what I'm loving. That is what I love to see. I don't know. I honestly don't know if you would argue if Rock or Austin belongs to Yeet or like if it's Jay or LA Knight. I would argue that LA Knight is more Stone Cold and Jay is more Rock, which I mean, not in a stereotypical way, but you know.
Yeah. But
I would feel that way. But the thing is, you know, you have that. You do have Rock that awesome mentality, but you also have that Rock versus Shawn dream match, and now we get to see it. Now I'm interested. Now I'm wanting to see this more, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about.
And we get Seth Rollins and LA Knight this Saturday night on Saturday night's main event in Atlanta. I do think, and LA Knight's not moved to Raw yet, I would say Seth does win the match, and Seth could write him off for a while, and then it leads to LA Knight coming back, and maybe it leads to, if Roman's not going to be at SummerSlam, you do Seth versus LA at SummerSlam. If LA Knight wins, he gets moved to Raw.
Yeah, I agree. I think LA Knight should go to Raw anyways. There's a lot we can see, even if we have LA Knight versus Dominic Mysterio.
And Seth could cash in by the end of the weekend anyway. We get Seth and LA Knight in a world title program or WWE title program, whichever title Seth walks out of with at SummerSlam at Clash in Paris. Boom.
Yeah,
he could be Seth's first challenger for one of his brand new world titles he wins, whichever one it is that he cashes in on it successfully at SummerSlam. Could do that. Because, I mean, then that's if Roman can't make SummerSlam. Now, if he does, I would do Seth and Roman. Because there's a score to settle there. Because by the looks of lately, we might get CM Punk and Gunther at SummerSlam for the world title. And that's a big money match for SummerSlam. And it gives that unpredictability to Seth cash in on Punk with Gunther or Cody with Cena. There's that unpredictability factor.
The only problem you have, though, with Gunther and Seth is the fact that they both are heels, and you never want to put two heels together in a match to get like one-on-one.
Well, unless Seth makes it a triple threat with Punk and Gunther, and like you did WrestleMania 31, and Punk
could do Punk.
Yeah,
I think it would just be better though to have Punk versus Gunther and just leave it like that. I don't see a reason in SummerSlam to have a triple threat in this type of day and age. Maybe when we were back in 2012 and it made sense for Big Show to be in there with Cena and Punk, but even then that was kind of just like, what the fuck is he doing in there? Stupid. You know, like it would feel that way if we had Punk or Rollins in the triple threat. Yeah, that's what vibe it gives me is that timeline.
Yeah. But that's with LA Knight and Seth Rollins. They're going one-on-one this Saturday night on Saturday night's main event, as well as Gunther and Goldberg for the world title. And then Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. And Drew McIntyre is back. Glad he's back. He's facing the Viper this Saturday, which I do expect Drew to win to only play into Randy Orton's eventual heel turn. Because I do expect Cody to win back the WWE Championship off of John Cena at SummerSlam. And then we could get Cody and Drew at Clash in Paris for the WWE title, and at least after that, and at least Clash in Paris, we can start seeing Randy go heel and he turns on Cody Rhodes, and we get that Orton and Cody feud throughout the rest of this year for the over the championship on SmackDown, and that would be, and that I'm telling you, that's going to be great television, that feud right there. So that's going to be good when Randy goes heel. I mean, he's still over as a face, but honestly, Pyro, I think a lot of people want that Orton heel turn, and he works better as a heel anyway.
He teased it. He did tease it.
He brought the chair in the ring. He exposed the top turnbuckle. than the match with Cody at Night of Champions in the King of the Ring final. Even this past Friday on SmackDown, Randy showed some heel tendencies as well. So look out for that.
Yeah, exactly. He is definitely teasing. I think they should just hit the. I think Randy Orton, like, let's say.
So maybe Seth cashes in on the world title, not the WWE title. I know Seth's been teasing the WWE title, but I think the world title, I do think. I'm still going my vision. Sammy takes the world title off Seth at WrestleMania next year in Las Vegas.
Well, here's the story too, folks.
And especially how Sammy got destroyed tonight.
Well, that's what I was going to mention. Yeah, he is going to be out for a while. He is, he had broken ribs, Braun Breaker, speared him
three
like
monster
4 times.
Spears, man. Holy shit,
dude! One was on the, one was in the air, bro. Yeah,
running spear on the outside, then running like 4 or 5 different laps and back and forth in between the ropes, and a third spear
without the tape on
like
his ribs too.
Mugging out there, man, and I loved it.
Right after, he also had a pipe assault from Cross.
Yeah. I'm loving the fact Karrion Kross is now getting TV time, and he does, and I think he does, and I heard he does have a contract coming up very soon. And I read some recent reports that it looks like he is staying, and that is the right move. WWE would be fucking idiots. Like, they would be absolute utter fools to let a guy like Karrion Kross go.
Yeah.
And the fact he is a Triple H guy, I cannot see them letting him go. I can't.
So just kind of to
even so much so tonight, we want Cross chants.
Yeah.
If that
that's
doesn't
fun.
equal Karrion Kross signing a new deal with WWE, I don't know what will.
It definitely helps with.
Him, it looks like he is, or maybe no announcement yet, because maybe Kross wants to have no dirt sheets report it and keep it a genuine surprise, maybe. Which I couldn't.
Probably.
If that's the case, I don't blame him for it, because the dirt sheets.
He's always been good about that. He's always been good about being that type of guy to just allow that kayfabe still. He always puts business and kayfabe first.
The dirt sheets ruin a lot of shit. The dirt sheets ruin a lot of surprises and shit.
Yeah, they do. And the thing is too, like, there's been a lot of people online where they say that they say Karrion Kross so overrated. I don't like this guy. He's not even on enough.
He doesn't like to take front or back bumps. Which I don't believe.
Does.
I don't believe for a second. I don't.
He takes them anyways.
Staff of Fightful Select even said that report was bullshit.
Okay, but let's put
Look
in
this matches with Dragon Lee and main event taking back bumps, and you're saying Kross doesn't want to take bumps? Bullshit.
Well, and here's the deal.
At all.
Well, let's put it in the eyes of a professional wrestler, and let's not just put it on the eyes of Karrion Kross. Who the fuck does like taking bumps? Nobody likes taking bumps, but you have to, and he does.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If it's true, I don't think the rumor is true, but if it's true, who does like taking bumps? And when you do take those bumps, he takes them. He will take them. He will work for you. He worked for Sammy. He's taken loss after freaking loss. The thing is, you can hate something and still do the job. And that's what Karrion Kross is proving he can do. And if he does like taking bumps, well, shit, you're one of fucking maybe 100 wrestlers in this world right now. Nobody likes taking bumps. It hurts. It hurts like hell, but it's part of the job.
Exactly. At least you go out there and just do your job and be a professional. And that's what Kross is, a professional.
Yes. You have to take the bumps in order to know how to do them to other people, to know that you both are equal. Exactly. You have to be equal here. You can't just Goldberg the shit and have a 5-minute match where you're the only one given the bumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is too, I appreciate the main event too, because Seth Rollins and Penta had a pretty decent match. They really did.
And Penta was very close at one point. He almost won twice, actually.
Yeah, but I appreciate what they're doing.
But then Seth got the low blow and hit the stomp for the win. Then it's when you see LA Knight after the show. But
the thing is, I appreciate what they're doing with all three men. They're making them. Mitch thought they were gonna have one of them at least lose, but I really love that these three guys are legit competitors. They are Evolution, and the thing is, man, like, they're more than that right now. They're dominating Raw. They're dominating all of your heroes. They are dominating the guys that are on the top, and they're giving Mike time too. I love that. Mitch didn't like it. I
Earlier
love that.
tonight, not only did Heyman speak, Seth spoke, Braun Breaker spoke.
Yeah,
and Bronson Reed spoke. He even explained the tsunamis he gave to Seth late last year, but then he said, you know what?
That was wild.
Then he brought that up.
Yeah, dude, that was.
And then Braun said, you know what, Seth, though, I respect you. So
yeah,
I like that. They gave him time, and they're not henchmen, they're actual legit stars, and I'm very happy Triple H and WWE and WWE Creative gave them the time and the opportunity to speak tonight. So I will say good on them.
He is using what he learned from the Attitude Era.
And it was great. It came off great when they spoke. And there's a rumor on Braun Breaker, apparently, that there's a rumor going around that there's a long-term plan that it's not going to happen overnight, that Braun's going to be elevated and eventually break out on his own and turn him face.
I can see that from how things were going. I can see that because even he was
like once the group starts to implode, they're going to tease Braun going out of the group and going face, similar to like how Batista quit Evolution.
Well, and here's the deal too. I appreciate that because I can see even the backstage segment where he's like, "Man, what are we going to do about Cross? People don't think I'm being legit here." That's a very face
something
thing.
Like that earlier a while ago when I showed up in the live Raw Watch Long live stream on Mitch's channel and your channel a while ago. I said it in the live stream chat. I did. So if you after this video, if you want to check it out, definitely check it out. It's there. I mentioned to Pyro, Joe, and Mitch. What we saw earlier tonight, using a fourth man, it's rumored to be Ethan Page or Ricky Saints. But what if it's someone that nobody's even reporting or talking about or calling? What if the fourth man is neither Ethan Page nor Ricky Saints, but it's Karrion Kross instead, and nobody's talking about it? What if it's something we don't know, and Karrion Kross with Scarlett is the fourth person in the Paul Heyman faction, and not Ethan Page and not Ricky Saints?
That is the most ECW fucking thing
Kross
I've ever heard in my life.
With Sammy lately, and Sammy's been feuding with the Seth faction, saying, "Sammy, you're never going to be a world champion. You should have accepted the trade to SmackDown. Now look at you. You're a bum. You're a loser." And Braun Breaker even yelled to Sammy, "You're a bum. Why do you even do things for these people? I can't stand you or your music." And Braun Breaker said that during Raw tonight.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So I mean, that would make sense, and I would not hate that at all. I know I would say Kross is better on his own. However, with this storyline thing, it would make sense. And if you're going to push Braun out, maybe to have Kross in there, and eventually Braun breaks away on his own.
Yeah, and I think if I don't think there should be a fourth member, but I would think it's funny.
But if it's for storyline purposes, and if the storyline is good, it makes sense. In this case, Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross would be funny. I'll give you that. I think if you do have him too, that's the most ECW thing ever. Having two managers, but having it be Paul Heyman and Scarlett. That would be fucking hilarious. That's the most ECW thing ever, dude. It's so great.
Yeah, and Paul Heyman actually earlier was called the Oracle, by the way. I don't know if you paid attention to that. He is now called the Oracle. For a name of this faction, I don't know if it's called the Empire. I really wish they'd give this group a name by now. It's kind of like the Death Riders in AEW, but we do need a name for this faction. I don't know if it's called the Empire, but they got to give a name to this.
No, I heard about a name rumor. I'll get it real quick. I've seen it, but I'll have to. I wrote it down somewhere. I'll have to get it real quick. If it'll work, come on, internet. You gonna work today? It's called The Future of the Industry, which I don't know. I don't. That was a
little bit of a.
I know that was a rumor.
I would go the Vision.
Yeah.
The Vision. I think that would be a good name for this group. Because Seth Rollins is the visionary. Paul Heyman has the vision. I think that would be perfect. A perfect name for this faction. So because I mean this group does need a faction, and what we saw tonight, Braun Breaker absolutely destroying Sami Zayn tonight, Seth Rollins getting the win over Penta, and Bronson Reed, though he lost to Jey Uso by DQ, man, Bronson Reed gave Jey Uso multiple tsunamis, taking out Jey Uso. So tonight, Seth's faction did feel like a threat tonight. So I have to give her credit as due. So I like that. I like that. And I know Triple H is with this slow build and such, and we need things now. But with a few weeks to go till SummerSlam, I do expect Seth to cash in at SummerSlam successfully. And when he cashes in and wins the world title, like that, I feel like it's going to bring this faction on the Heyman faction on Raw to the next level to where it needs to be. And then we can get the ball rolling and things can cook with that faction on Monday Night Raw. Because if Seth is the world champion, the leader of his faction on Raw, that would feel like the Seth's faction's overtaking Raw, because right now it doesn't really feel like it. But if Seth cashes in the briefcase successfully at SummerSlam, walks out with the world heavyweight title, now we can feel that, yeah, Seth Heyman's faction is overtaking Monday Night Raw, and they're running roughshod on Raw, and no one's going to be able to take them down. Then you can have Sami Zayn win the Rumble next January in Saudi, and then he takes the world title off of Seth next April in Vegas at WrestleMania 42, an underdog-like moment. I think that would be great television and would be great storytelling. Especially the fact that Sami Zayn has never, ever been a world champion in WWE.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if they do go ahead and do this cash-in, I would love to see it be against... I would love to see it be where, let's say, Punk wins the world title at SummerSlam against Gunther. If they do have a one-on-one with Gunther, let's say that happens,
Yeah.
and then you have Seth Rollins cashing in on Punk, and pulling a WrestleMania 31, or pulling what Dean Ambrose did to him, what Dean Ambrose did to Seth.
Yes.
That right there would be so satisfying because of what we're still going on for the story itself.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that personally.
Yeah, but I thought the opening to Raw was very good. And a hot open to Raw when the fans singing Seth Rollins' theme song, and then the dogs barking in the arena. And Bronson sounded good. Braun sounded good. Both Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed both sounded good. Heyman always is a great promo. Seth is good. Did very well on the mic as well. He's always been a great promo guy. So that was a nice open to Raw. We also got a backstage skit with the Judgment Day talking about Liv Morgan. They almost treat this as like some funeral and shit.
Yeah.
I did catch that. And then AJ Styles was hiding in the background, and Dominic pulls out his doctor's note. I don't know if we get AJ and Dominic for the IC title on Saturday night's main event. If not, I would honestly, you know what? If they don't do for Saturday, I would say the best route is to do this match for SummerSlam and have AJ win the championship, because Dominic and Balor doesn't really need the IC title, or maybe Dominic can win it back sometime down the line then if he feuds with Balor for the title, but I don't think he really needs the title to feud with Balor, because when Dominic's at a Judgment Day, that's like a big blood feud. The IC title would feel lost in the shuffle. You could give it to AJ Styles, especially has one more year left on his contract. He just signed a 1-year extension to his WWE deal. Then next year, before he turns 50 in 2026, AJ Styles is officially retiring in WWE, and he's not going to wrestle anymore at all, literally. Yeah. So it's pretty much AJ Styles last year, starting now.
Wow, it's really hard to see, man. You got Randy counting his days. AJ and Cena are leaving. We don't know how long Punk's going to be around.
Rey Mysterio is not going to be around forever. Or Randy he's still got many years left in the tank, but at some point he's not going to be able to do this. He's not going to do this forever, Randy Orton. But
Nick, that's going to be so hard, man. I understand how people feel from the Attitude Era now. Cause like, god damn, that's going to be so hard.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason to building up Aleister Black as a main eventer. They're gonna give him a big push on SmackDown.
They have to now. They have to.
In fact, he's wrestling R-Truth this Friday on SmackDown, which I think it leads to Aleister versus Damian Priest at SummerSlam, which I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
So we then have the first match of the Raw show tonight. Kairi Sane beats Roxanne Perez. The early parts of this match felt very clunky. I don't know what's up. Listen, I love Kairi Sane, but I don't know what's been going on with Kairi lately. Something like it feels like that there's still that ring rust. I don't know what's up with Kairi. Just something feels off with Kairi. I don't know what it is, but something feels very off with her.
That's why I feel like she needs the tag team. That's why I feel like she needs Asuka by her side. She needs to relearn
Or just
her
I don't
steps.
I
She
don't
needs
know.
to just
Gotta
retrace her
give her,
steps.
yeah, or if not that, give her some squash matches or video packages instead of just throwing her in a Money in the Bank Triple Threat qualifier, throwing her right in the fire. Give her some video packages and weeks of video packages and squash some enhancement towns before bringing her up to some big names in the Raw Women's Division. You could have done that instead
Well,
of
I
throwing her in the
understand
Money
what
in the Bank
happened.
qualifier.
I think they had a lot of
She
trust in
was
her, and
out
I
for
think
like
they had a lot
she
of
was like
heat with her.
what was she out for like what almost a year?
Sure, but I think whenever they wanted her back, one, it was during the time where even faces were kind of being they didn't really have much faces, but also the fact that it was just a desperation of they want to give her a shot because they believe in her, and they want to give her a shot because we need somebody. Shit, at this point, we need somebody, and I think that's what it comes down to is that. But let's
No,
we are at
or with Stephanie Vaquera called up to the main roster and Julia and others. I hate to say it, I don't know if things have passed Kairi Sane by. I don't know. You
I
don't
want to
see
say
things,
that I
you
want
don't see
to.
things passing Asuka by, and she still feels like the Asuka like that we all know and love. And Asuka's not showing ring rust at all. You clearly see it. Kairi Sane, I just don't know. Something feels very off with Kairi. Kairi is not being her. Like she's not being herself.
Right. It might be the ring rust, but we'll have to see what goes on with that because at the end of the day, we could easily see a turnaround. And sometimes that does happen with ring rust. That does happen where you just have to find yourself again. Personally, I do like the tag team, but yeah, it's a matter of just waiting and seeing what happens with that. But let's go ahead and we are at the 30-minute mark. Let's go ahead and move on to the evolution, just because I think we did good with. I think everyone got a good taste of Raw, but the most important aspect right now is this Saturday.
Becky, Lyra, and Bailey had a very good segment earlier tonight.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah, they did.
And Bailey called Lyra a bitch, saying that you raised the hands of you raised the hand of that bitch, and then Lyra tried to sucker punch Bailey, but Becky got the punch, and then Lyra and Bailey went at it, and Lyra stood tall. Now, I'm thinking Becky retains on Sunday. We get Becky and Lyra for the title, part 3, at SummerSlam,
yeah,
and that's where Lyra wins the championship back off of Becky. And I think Becky retains Sunday, but Bailey eats the pin.
You think Bailey eats? I think it's Lyra.
Well,
I think it's Lyra because I think there's going to be more.
You gotta have Lyra look strong.
Well, yeah, but I think that's what it's going to be. I think what's going to happen is Lyra is going to take the pin, but she's going to take the pin from an assault from Bailey. I think Becky is going to take advantage of the fact that those two are arguing, and she's going to take her revenge of Monday and everything else on Lyra. I think Lyra's taking the pin for sure on that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that segment with all 3 ladies, even before Becky Lynch said, "New Day, you know who I can't stand? Biggie. He's a scumbag." Backstage before that segment even occurred, I did catch that.
Yeah,
that appears the New Day, the War Raiders, and Becky Lynch. So
yeah, that's the funniest.
Might I say
ever,
Becky Lynch? I was skeptical with Becky as a heel this year in that April at first, but the past month or so, she's really doing well as a heel. This is the heel Becky that should have been 4 years ago. And what Becky's doing now as a heel is actually not bad at all. She's actually a justified heel, and she's actually been cutting some decent promos. I don't know how you feel. That's how I feel about Becky.
I think everyone in that is. I just think the whole feud is awesome. Like a lot of people had a hard time at the beginning, but I trusted the process, and it has been doing well. It really has been. I think it's been.
Yeah.
I personally think it's been growing, and I think the tension's growing. I think we're getting to the point where we don't have to rely on, we don't have to rely on the fact that, um, what if Lyra says this? What if Bailey fucks it up? What if Becky's not a good champion? We can now rely on the fact that, we're seeing a more tough side of Lyra. We're seeing Bailey getting jealous. We're seeing Becky
Yes.
being a bad bitch on the mic and stepping it the fuck up. Like, we're seeing a lot of good stuff from this rivalry. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
But now we got to move to, I think this is the
Evolution.
beginning of the match, but it's Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no holds barred match. And I think it's going to be, I know she's got a big match coming up, but I think it's going to be Naomi taking this win.
Really, I'm actually gonna go Jade Cargill, and the reason, now listen to me, I'm going Jade Cargill because 3 weeks after Evolution is SummerSlam. Jade Cargill has a big match with Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam for the women's title. Jade Cargill really can't lose. Now Naomi has the briefcase; she could take a loss. Now I go Jade Cargill winning because the reason for that is because, again, 3 weeks after Evolution is SummerSlam. Jade wins against Naomi. That writes Naomi off from Evolution till SummerSlam, and Naomi comes back at SummerSlam after she gets written off at Evolution, and then Naomi can come back after being written off at Evolution, comes back at SummerSlam to cash in the Money in the Bank on Jade and win the championship. Now, I think SmackDown this Friday's in Tennessee. That's Bianca Belair town. I don't know if Bianca's been cleared yet. What if it now? I'm just thinking out of my ass. Tiffany and Jade for the women's title at SummerSlam. What if we add a little spice to that? Bianca Belair's the special guest referee. Jade could win, but Naomi cashes in. And that's where Bianca turns on Jade. And Naomi can cash in, win the title thanks to Bianca, does Naomi. Or if it's just no special referee, Tiffany and Jade wins the title clean. Then Naomi comes out, tries to cash in. Bianca makes a save only to turn on Jade, and then Naomi cashes in. Either way, Naomi, I think, cashes in at SummerSlam, wins the women's title coming out of New Jersey at SummerSlam weekend in a month. So I'm thinking Jade to win the no holds barred, and Naomi gets written off until SummerSlam where she cashes in.
Hell, I think you're buying me on that one. Yeah, I think you're buying me on that. I think I will go Jade because I think she's also, isn't she undefeated in singles competition?
Yes, technically.
So they'll probably keep that going until SummerSlam. But yeah, I can see that. I can definitely change my mind on that one. And I think we both said it was Stephanie Valkyrie. We think is going to win that Battle Royal.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
And I think she's the favorite, and honestly, she's the right one to win. And you see, she just got to the main roster, but you see how high Triple H is on La Primera, and she is the one they're gonna strap the rocket launch pack on her, and they're gonna, and deservedly and rightfully so, because Stephanie Valkyrie is that fucking good. And I think, and now the winner of this Battle Royal gets a women's title match against their brand's champion at Clash in Paris, August 31st, 4 weeks after SummerSlam in Paris, France. Stephanie Valkyrie wins the Battle Royal. Io Sky goes into Clash in Paris as women's world champ. And that's where Io drops the championship at Clash in Paris to Stephanie Valkyrie. And Io pretty much passes the torch to Stephanie as the new face of the Raw Women's Division at Clash in Paris, August 31st. I think that's the way to go. And they wrestled on the Raw after Mania this past April. That was just a preview treat of what we're going to get with Stephanie versus Io. That was just a preview. And they had a very good match of Raw after Mania this past April, Pyro. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going Stephanie Valkyrie to win this Battle Royal all the way.
And I think the runner-up's going to be Nikki. I think Nikki's going to be the runner-up.
Well, she did announce earlier she is in the Battle Royal, and I'm sure the plans were her versus Liv in a singles match or tag match, but Liv got injured. I hope wish her speedy recovery. And now plans change, and Nikki Bella's in the Battle Royal. She might make the final 3, final 2, but I expect Stephanie Valkyrie to win the Battle Royal. And hopefully Nikki Bella this time gets Stephanie Vatcare right and not Vatqui. And pronounce Stephanie Vatcare's name properly, please.
Oh my god,
Please.
that was so bad. That
Her
was
and
so
Brie
bad.
botched her last name. It was
That was
was
worse than
awful.
the fact that she's even in the Battle Royal to begin with. But we did
Speaking of
mention
Battle Royals, do you see any returns? Now, Saraya / Paige recently said, I've had no talks recently with WWE. I don't buy that. I think she
don't
comes
think
back
she will.
on Sunday. Look at Edge before he came back at the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble. He kept it very quiet and silent. I think that's what Paige is doing. And I think she comes back to WWE this Sunday in the Battle Royal at Evolution. I really do.
It could be Brie. I could see Brie doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I really could.
But they uploaded WWE on their YouTube channel, uploaded earlier today. AJ Lee versus Paige at SummerSlam 2014 for the Divas title earlier today on WWE's YouTube channel. I think at least one of them comes back on Sunday in the Battle Royal. So there has to be a reason WWE did that to tease that.
They do that. They have been doing that lately on the
Not
Vault
sure if you
channel.
caught that. So
I did not. That's a good eye.
We did to pay attention to.
We did mention the Io Sky about Io Sky being the champion, but I want to go ahead and
she's not defended that title. By the way, did you know she's not defended the title since WrestleMania 41 night 2?
That's what. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that's. I don't know how the hell, but
that is insane.
It's. I think it's definitely protecting what Triple H is trying to do. Have less defenses, but it's definitely crazy with you when you see about Cena's defending. When you see about
not really.
hell, they're defending the tag titles more. It's weird.
Not really a good look, if you ask me.
Huh?
Not really a good look.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's why I'm glad they finally have the match. I mean, hell.
And again, this is what happens when you have a big lack of heels in the Raw Women's division for Io Sky to work with. Because you got Roxanne Perry with the Judgment Day. You're not going to do Roxanne and Io now because neither woman can fucking lose. It's just, that's what happens when you have a big lack of heels in the Raw Women's division that can take a loss to Io. You know?
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. You know?
Who do you get the win from? Does Rhea become champion? This one's hard. This one's really hard.
I'm going Io Sky.
You're going Io.
I do not think Rhea wins on Sunday. I would be shocked if she does. I don't think she needs it. I know they have that crown jewel in Perth, Australia this October. They might want Rhea to go into that show in October as the Women's World Champ. Probably I could picture that. However, I just can't see her winning it on Sunday. I think Io retains. She goes into SummerSlam as Women's Champ, walks out of SummerSlam still Women's World Champ, and Io Sky drops that Women's World title to Stephanie Vatcare at Clash in Paris, and Stephanie Vatcare is the new face of that Raw Women's division as the Women's World Champion. I think that's a direction they go with.
Yeah. I'll say Rhea. I'll go ahead and be the odd man out. I'll say Rhea. Just because it can open up Stephanie versus her at SummerSlam. It can open up a lot of more opportunities with her defending the title. I think it can open up for, the fact of going in Australia. It just opens up a lot for ticket sales and merch sales. Interesting matches. I think it would be better for WWE if she is champion. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and be the odd man out and go ahead and do Rhea on that one. But speaking of, though, about returns, we did get a return last Friday. Trish Stratus will challenge for the Women's WWE Championship.
Women's title.
Yeah.
I know Mitch would probably be vocal about this. We should have got this at the Elimination Chamber in March instead of Tiffany and this is Candice and Nia. I know. Mitch will be very vocal about that. I promise that.
Oh, I fucking hate this. I'll be honest. I hate this so much. Yeah, I hate this. I hate that Trish is automatically getting a title shot.
Well,
I can't stand like guys like Goldberg.
I mean, there's not much build. That's the problem. Like WWE is focusing on 3-4 things at once. Nothing can breathe. They can't focus on one thing at a time right now. They building the 3-4 things like simultaneously. Everything just feels thrown together and rushed. They don't have any amount or ounce or whatsoever to breathe, and it affects the creative and it affects the product because everything just feels fucking thrown together
I
and
have
rushed.
experience.
And they can't focus on just one thing and shit. Like, I feel like that's the biggest reason that they're in this lull coming out of WrestleMania this year. And I feel like once we get closer to SummerSlam, and especially coming out of SummerSlam, 4 weeks after SummerSlam is Clash in Paris, 4-week build. That's a lot better than 2 to 3 week build for a PLE. When you have a 2 to 3 week build for a PLE, that's not enough to get you to care, especially with long-term booking and storytelling, which Triple H is known for. Right now, everything just feels crammed together and rushed. Like, no one can think straight at this time, and things have to suffer for it. The product suffers for it, and it affects the creative big time. And I feel like when we get closer to SummerSlam, and especially coming out of SummerSlam, going into Clash in Paris, I think that's when things can finally start to breathe again, and the WWE can start to get back on a vertical base and start bouncing back. Because right now, everything just feels crammed together and fucking rushed. Like rush. That's what it feels right now. There's just too many shows right now, especially this weekend. Like tonight, Raw, tomorrow, NXT. And now I know we get AEW Dynamite Wednesday and then Collision Thursday, but Friday SmackDown, then the Great American Bash early on Saturday, and then All in Texas for AEW, Saturday night's main event, then Evolution. That's a lot of wrestling for a week. That's a lot.
It's too much.
The average viewer to sit through. That's a lot of wrestling.
That's why it's too much with SummerSlam. It's too much for
Adam Carl and I
SummerSlam.
said it on the SmackDown post show from the 4th of July SmackDown this past Saturday. If you want to watch that after this video, go check it out. Adam Carl and I said it best. There's just too many shows right now.
Yeah. Well, and look at SummerSlam. 2 nights. Why is there 2 nights of SummerSlam? We already have 2 nights of WrestleMania.
Well, SummerSlam is their second biggest show of the year. I mean, so I don't mind SummerSlam being 2 nights, but after Evolution is 3 weeks to build to SummerSlam. 3 weeks.
It's just, yeah. And when you look at SmackDown Hotel, right? Like, look at what you had before in the years. You had a stable, once a month. Maybe there's a second one a few months of the year. There is literally a show, a PLE, 2 or 3 fucking times a month. I can't pay attention to this shit. I can't grasp it. I can't understand. It's hard. It's hard to sit through all that and be able to remember everything and still watch other wrestling, and it's like I'd rather just fucking watch, one a week, be able to watch TNA, be able to watch Ring of Honor or whatever the fuck. I'd rather have the 3 major businesses than just one fucking business that's just going to override me.
Exactly.
That's the thing. It's trying to build more money and build more seats, build more views off other products, but it's trying to compete. At the same time, you're just overriding me. Now I don't know what the fuck you're doing now because you have so many stories, you have so many shows. I can't.
And also trying to counter program AEW All in Texas on Saturday, and they have Saturday night's main event and Great American Bash the same day as All in the Saturday. Then they got Evolution Sunday instead of having Evolution the weekend all on its own. They should have done a July 6th, but they're moving it to this weekend. They should have had that July 6th. I'm sorry. They should have.
That's why I didn't like when AAA and Money in the Bank were on the same day. It was just too goddamn much, man. I was already tired by Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Like, I love wrestling, but shit, dude. I already work in a wrestling business as it is. I don't need to be fucking crammed with more shit. You know what I mean?
The average fan just gets burnt out.
Huh?
The average fan gets so fucking burned out at that point.
Yeah.
It's like at some point it's like, enough, too many shows, do one show at a time and give things a chance to breathe.
Well, that's a problem about being in show business like I am. It just, you get burnt out so easily.
And it's not just a WWE problem. AEW has the same fucking problem too.
Oh, they did that shit before WWE, that like years before WWE did. That's why the product started.
They had the 300th episode last week, and then this Wednesday's their go-home show to All in Texas.
Yep, and the thing is, they did that back in the day, and the problem is,
2 weeks before, and that's like so much.
The problem is, fans would go to one show or the other; they wouldn't watch both, and that's what AEW is like. Oh, okay, we'll slow down, but like, WWE's doing it now, and then AEW's doing it, try to compete, and now they both are trying to compete with each other, putting too much fucking shit out, and nobody can establish a straight up story that they can feed on. You can't find a story that's going to be you can't find a story that's going to be that's going to be consistent, that's going to have more than just the same people in there. You have the same shit every week.
And it just, you feel nothing right now. They're not bad shows. Raw and SmackDown these days, currently not bad shows, but like you don't feel anything, and there's like something is missing. Something is clearly missing. And I know Triple H has this slow build, but I mean, I think again, once you get closer to SummerSlam and coming out of SummerSlam, things should start to really pick up again, because with Seth with the briefcase, Naomi with the briefcase, and also so that. But right now, everything just feels like there's not much going on, just matches, but not. I mean, there's story, but it's like it's a slow build. Like it's kind of slow right now. It's gonna get there eventually in a while, but right now it's just you don't feel anything at this time. It's just ice cold right now.
Yeah.
Ice cold until at least we get into the late summer. At least.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we have 2 more matches. Let's try to make this.
Tiffany and Trish, I will say though, does make somewhat sense because they have had interactions and somewhat to do with each other, especially their tag match where they beat Candice and Nia this past March at the Chamber, March 1st. But I do think Tiffany's winning. It's predictable. She's not losing to Trish.
Yeah.
She's not losing.
So yeah, I think we both are in agreement. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton winning that match, which a good pass of the torch. It's a really good pass of the torch to Tiffany. But let's get these next 2 matches pretty quick so we can head on off of here.
Raquel.
We have the let's start with the
Raquel
tag team title match
versus Charlotte and Alexa versus the Kabuki Warriors versus Sol Ruka, the NXT Women's North American Champion, and Zarya from NXT.
Oh,
now,
is
the
that
women's
a thing?
tag titles don't mean jack shit. However, you add Charlotte and Alexa, the Kabuki Warriors, and Sol Ruka and Zarya to the match, it does make the match a lot more interesting. Just based off like Charlotte, Sol Ruka, especially Sol Ruka, and she's incredible. I watch NXT with her on. She's phenomenal. Sol Ruka, and she will be a big deal on Raw or SmackDown in the future. Like she is a future piece of the company, and I mean, I would say in the next year she gets called up to the main roster. She's that good.
Yeah.
So Roxanne and Raquel, though, I do think they retain. There's no reason for them to lose.
Yeah, no, I think Raquel and Roxanne make the perfect sense for story for what they're doing with the Judgment Day, having all the titles. So I can be in agreement with that. I don't think Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are a solid team. I don't think that's going to last long at all. Kabuki Warriors just came back. It's just weird. And then, you're not going to give it to the NXT champions. You're not just going to give it to someone from NXT unless you are going to call them up. But I don't know. At Evolution, it's not really the right place for that type of it's not that right place for that type of exposure. So
but
I'll say I'll go ahead and say that one. Judgment Day, all the titles. And then we have right after that we do have the NXT Women's Championship match, JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. Does Jordan Grace win it?
No, I think JC, call me crazy. I'm actually going to go JC Jane winning this. Jordan Grace gets called up to SmackDown because she's main roster ready. Let's be real. She does not need to be NXT Women's Champion. She's bigger than NXT at this point. She is more than ready. She's ready for the main roster. She's been ready for several weeks, months now. And you want a match at SummerSlam with Julia for the women's U.S. title. Do Julia versus Jordan Grace for the women's U.S. title at SummerSlam. That's a big match for SummerSlam. And Jordan Grace and Julia had a very good match the last time Julia wrestled on NXT, and I would not mind that again for the women's U.S. title this time at SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year for WWE. And JC Jane retains, I think, and I think Blake Monroe wins it off JC. JC has not had a successful one, has not had at least one successful title defense yet. I think she retains here because the Fatal Influences help. And I think that sends Jordan Grace to the main roster on SmackDown, which is the rumored brand she's going to. Jordan Grace is apparently going to SmackDown with her inevitable main roster call up. But JC Jane retains, first title defense she retains. Blake Monroe is the one to take it off of her. And Blake Monroe's the NXT Women's Champion until at least WrestleMania weekend next year. She drops it then Blake Monroe next spring, then gets called up to the main roster.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam Carl. Oh, Grande Americano. Yes. So it was Ludwig Kaiser, though. Beat Dragon Lee.
No.
He was tall. That's Ludwig Kaiser's tall, bro. Come on.
No. It's Taylor Swift. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Here. I got to tell Adam Carl, Humberto Carrillo is Berto. Now I got to tell this guy here. It's Ludwig Kaiser, not El Grande Americano.
Nah. No, it ain't Chad Gable. It's not Ludwig, bro. It's Taylor Swift. Either that or it's Barack Obama. Okay, he's trying to get the presidency back. It's got to be Barack Obama or it's got to be Taylor Swift.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, man. This is The Rock. This is what goes on here on Raw post show chaos, ladies and gentlemen.
Adam, you're a part of the fun now, my man. You're part of the fun.
Absolutely, and he's the reason he's my guy, and we're the great team on the Forbidden Podcast, by the way. Which actually 5th episode of Forbidden Podcast comes July 26th, at the end of the month, a week before SummerSlam. We're going to talk some SummerSlam stuff, so look out for that. It should be a very, very fun show. Looking forward to that. And speaking of whom, Adam Carl, he says 3-way IC title match should main event Evolution. It could. I mean, I would be a good deserving candidate for the main event, though. However, I would say Io and Rhea. I would not be against the women's IC title triple threat main eventing, but I do think they're going to go Io and Rhea, though. With
they have to. They have to. It's as much as that match is super personal, it feels more.
The women's IC title has been booked better than the women's US title. Facts.
Yes, agreed. US and all of the titles, really. I mean, let's face it, the world title hasn't been defended since WrestleMania. We've already established that. But also the fact, Tiffany Stratton, I feel like it's just given chump change right now. And then she's just getting a lot of random feuds for no fucking reason. And then you have the IC title who, ever since Lyra won it for the first ever Intercontinental Champion, she's had great matches. She's been a defending champ, and she's had a very established rivalry so far with Becky.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's missing from everybody right now with the world title.
Personality.
All the other titles are not having the personality, or not having those rivalries, are not showing the reason why we should give a fuck about the titles. So I can see what Adam's saying for sure, but it feels more natural if we do have a world title main event the show, especially if it's Rhea Ripley.
If Bayley and Becky and Lyra was over the women's world title, then that main events.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Without a doubt, yeah.
It feels more like a world title program than an IC title program. Like the IC title right now is feeling like a big deal, especially the segment we got with Bayley, Lyra, and Becky tonight.
Yeah.
So, and I expect Lyra to win that belt back from Becky anyway at SummerSlam, and then we get Bayley feud with Lyra for the women's IC title coming out of SummerSlam, possibly going into Clash in Paris. I think that you could have a possible Bayley heel turn, and who knows, maybe Bayley eventually wins the title off of Lyra in the fall. Who knows? So that's always a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, for
But
sure.
mention JC Jane. I think she beats Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace gets called up to SmackDown. Blake Monroe is the one to take the NXT Women's title off JC Jane. And I did hear rumors Blake Monroe is set for a heel turn in the future, which I think I like Blake Monroe or Mariah May, but I think her better work is heel. If you watch her work in AEW, she was a very good heel in AEW, especially her AEW stuff with Timeless Tony Storm. That was very, very good television right there. Especially when Mariah turned on Tony, made Tony bleed before their match at All In Wembley last year, where Mariah won the championship. Mariah's title reign was a lot to be desired. It was booked like shit, but that was AEW's Tony Khan's fault, not Mariah's fault. And then the Hollywood ending at Revolution this past March for the AEW Women's World title with Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May. Really, really good stuff. Both those ladies killed it. And so Mariah May is a very good heel. So if you want proof of that, definitely go watch Mariah May's work in AEW. So Mariah May is set to go heel in the future in WWE and NXT. I don't mind it at all. In fact, I think she works better as a villain than as a babyface.
For sure. I think that's a good stopping point, though. I think we got our protection as well. I think, yeah, I think if you're good, then yeah.
Now the lack of build is definitely there. Very, very big lack of build. Now, do I think it's going to be better in Evolution 2018? Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
The potential's there.
Oh yeah, 18 kind of sucked, bro. 18 was
like a two match show. Becky and Charlotte being one of them. The rest of the card was not that good. Let's be honest. And Nikki Bella Ronda Rousey main evented was not good. I do think this year's Evolution will be better than 2018 Evolution. However, this deserved a much longer build than just like 2 weeks. Like everything just feels crammed together, and the tickets sold so far, if you've seen it, at like 5,000 tickets. But they did say is probably most likely going to be sold out though. But I mean, also Beyonce concert the same day as Evolution this Sunday. They should have had this past Sunday, last night, instead of this Sunday. That would have been much better off. But WWE wants to counter program AEW and be petty. Now that's on them. Yeah. That's on them. I know the All In Texas. AEW built to All In Texas has not been that good. It's a lot to be desired. And now the Mania built to Mania 41 was not that good. And now All In Texas build, not good. Like, is shit build. However, All In is AEW's WrestleMania. Whether it's a good or bad build, it's still AEW's biggest show of the year. And a lot of people are going to be talking about All In more so. I just hope Evolution delivers and has a good show Sunday. I really do. As the potential, I just hope they put on a good show, at least a decent show Sunday, is what I will say. So, but does it deserve a much longer build? Absolutely. Do I think the women got shafted in this? Yes, and they deserve more than a 2-week build? Absolutely. And I think we're both in agreement here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to be better. I think the women's division does deserve this. Like maybe back in 2018, it was a little awkward. It was kind of weird. I didn't think the division was as strong for it, but now looking at it, yeah, absolutely, I would give them their flowers, and I would definitely argue the fact that yes, they definitely deserve this, and they absolutely should have. The division is bigger, the excitement is there. The women's division has been working their fucking asses off trying to establish themselves and have established themselves, thanks to people like Rhea, like Io, like Becky, Lyra Valkyria, Stephanie Valkyrie coming up and instantly being a fucking superstar. It's stuff like that, and it's so refreshing to see that for sure. But I think that is a good stopping point. I think we should head on out here now. I'm tired. I'm hungry. So if you're cool, Nick, if you want to go ahead and just a few things before we go, I would like to acknowledge
yes,
the stuff going on in Texas, but also the passing of Teddy Long's son. Those two events are happening as of today.
Thoughts and prayers go out to Teddy Long and his family.
Absolutely.
Very tragic and sad.
Yeah, it does suck, and I mean, he was young, so yeah, it does suck. The cause of death has not been posted yet, but I'm sure that is probably going to be for a while, so the family can rightfully grieve in their way and just have their privacy. So, and then the flood in Texas, I'm shocked it got so bad. I don't understand what really went down.
People killed.
Yeah. How many? 90, right?
I think they're saying 90. That may have changed. I don't know if it's increased or not, but so far I've read 90 people killed.
Could be. Even being a Kansas City Chiefs fan, Clark Hunt's part of Clark Hunt's family. One person from the family actually passed away from that. So there's big names, but there's also people who are less fortunate passing away from this flood. And I just hope that the governor of Texas has a thorough plan to get this all sorted out for the families and for the state of Texas and so forth. Just everything going on. So, but with that being said, folks, we give our condolences to those who have passed away, and we look forward to seeing what happens for Evolution. I hope it is a better show than 2018 because the women do deserve to continue to have these PLEs. If they prove themselves, then we could have another one next year, especially with how big this division's going. Other than that, folks, don't forget to check out other shows on the Hardcore Sports Network, going with the Phenomenal Breakdown Show, Queens of the Ring. We will have Evolution, and we will have
main event.
Thank you.
And then the Great American Bash. At this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to be. Actually, I think, you know what? I think I'm going to be doing NXT Great American Bash, I believe, with Adam Carl on Saturday. I mean, the card doesn't look that appetizing, if you know what I'm saying, especially going to the same time slot against All in Texas. But it looks like as of now, Adam Carl and I will be doing the watch stream for NXT Great American Bash this Saturday afternoon. It looks like at this time, if something happens, let you know. Saturday night's main event. I'll be on there with Mitch Saturday night for Saturday night's main event and stuff. Evolution is looking like a go as well as Sunday. And then with the SmackDown watch along live stream this Friday, it's 2 hours, not 3. Me and Mitch will be on there, and it's live. It's not taped. So the first live 2-hour SmackDown will be back again this Friday, SmackDown July 11th edition. Mitch and I will be there for the live watch stream for that show this Friday on SmackDown on the USA Network, taking place live from Tennessee. So look out for that as well. And then, like I mentioned moments ago, the episode 5 of the Forbidden Podcast, Adam Carl and myself, 1 p.m. Saturday, July 26, 2025. Mark the date. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to talk SummerSlam stuff, greatest SummerSlam moments of all time, matches of all time, returns to SummerSlam of all time, etc., etc. It's going to be a really fun show. You're not going to want to miss it at all. It's going to be a really, really good, fun, exciting show. So I'm very much looking forward to that come July 26th. So make sure you mark that date.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of fun stuff coming for the Hardcore Sports Network, a lot of stuff coming for Furious Nation, and a lot of good stuff for myself, SSAWN Network. Stuff such and whatnot, done for the whatnot. This is Fiore, that is Nick, and we are out of here. Thank you, and have a great night.
Peace.